Hello, my name is Darrell,
And my name is Greg.
and this is Inside the Mastermind. And you might be asking yourself, what is a mastermind group? Well, Napoleon Hill defined a mastermind group as a coordination of knowledge and effort of two or more people who work toward a definite purpose in the spirit of harmony.
And here at Inside the Mastermind, we focus on five main areas of life, which include mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and socially. And actually want to improve these areas in our own lives, as well as help you, the viewers, do the same for yourselves and live a life of meaning, abundance, and greatness.
That's right. And in this particular episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about spiritually. And in fact, we're going to talk a little bit about reincarnations, more specifically channeling there. And three people or three examples, I should say, of channeling that are on the more famous side here. Before we do that, I got to come with a corny joke because that's what I do. So I got this jokes from jokes.cc.com. Go ahead and give me your hate mail later. But so a husband and wife have four sons. The oldest three are tall with red hair, light skin, and the youngest is short with black hair and dark eyes. The father was on his deathbed when he turned to his wife and said, "Honey, before I die, be totally honest with me. Is our youngest my son? Is the youngest my son and my child?" And wife replied, "I swear on everything that's holy, he is your son." And with that, the husband passed away. The wife then muttered, "Thank God he didn't ask about the other three." So just wanted to share that quick joke here with you guys. And I guess right now we're going to talk a little bit more about kind of three examples of channeling. And I guess the first example, and one of the more famous ones, is a guy by the name of Edgar Cayce. And Edgar Cayce was around in kind of the 1900s or so, early 1900s or so, and he was known as kind of the sleeping. It's kind of known for kind of going to sleep and having seances there, and Sleeping Prophet actually was the name that I was searching for there, and he kind of had a lot of talks about how to heal yourself, reincarnation, future wars, Atlantis, and that type of thing. Died in 1945 there. But he was kind of known worldwide. He was kind of a little bit of a celebrity at one point because of how accurate he was on certain things that were wrong with people, and some of his predictions actually did come true. So that's one example. He would kind of go to sleep and then you know start sharing in his sleep, or when he was under a trance, different things about Atlantis, like people's health, that type of thing. Another example is this, what's called the Seth materials. And the Seth material is kind of a similar thing. Jane Robert was the actual name here, but she would go under, and when she would go under a trance-like state, she would kind of become Seth there, which was kind of an ancient soul, a disembodied soul there that would kind of talk about different things that would happen, and was kind of a leader of the New Age movement for a little bit there. Um, she she basically channeled a lot of things that were um, a lot of things that couldn't really have been thought of beforehand or independently alone there. And she was very influential on the New Age movement as well. And then the final one is kind of Abraham Hicks. And that might be familiar to most people that are watching this, that are kind of into that type of thing, channeling and whatnot. But Abraham Hicks, for those unfamiliar with the name, was one of the first original teachers of a movie by the name of The Secret there, which a lot of people it's had a lot of controversy and a lot of praise at the same time there. And I know that Greg, one of your idols, Bob Proctor, was one of the original teachers and is a teacher that was still in kind of the last cut of The Secret as well. But a lot of that movie was based on the teaching of Wallace Wattles, who wrote a book that I'll probably throw into the description, and also Abraham Hicks, who is Esther Hicks, actually, but she goes under and kind of goes into a trance-like state and then starts to channel what she calls Abraham, a group of higher spirits or beings that can kind of talk and talk about law of attraction is kind of what they focus on. But let me kind of throw out to you, Greg, how familiar are you with like Abraham Hicks, or like kind of what's your experience like law of attraction there, and like hearing about that portion of the story of The Secret?
I actually do not know much on these. I have heard, a couple of the names that you threw out there, but I don't know a lot about them. But just what they practice in that type of area, I do definitely believe that there's forces of this world and not of this world that you can channel and open gates and summon things. I really do believe that is a reality. Just that a lot of times I think that we, for example, we're fighting for our freedom right now to get our, financial independence back and take our life back. But again, most people are not taught that. So when they hear about it, think it's weird, or it's we're in a cult or a scam or some type of pyramid, something like that. But again, when you're taught properly how to view certain things, it makes sense. Just like when we talk about the spiritual world, I do believe that is definitely real. It's just that, again, we're not taught to look at that in our current mindset because, we're just conditioned to kind of live in a box, to kind of stay within certain parameters instead of evolving and growing as a human race. I can't remember the exact details, but I remember I was viewing this one documentary a couple of years ago, and it was about some ancient civilization. Well, I guess not too ancient, but maybe ancient civilization that they used to actually heal themselves. They would use some type of plant that, again, they actually destroyed or doesn't grow anymore in some section, but along with the plant, they would apply the ointment to their infection or their disease, and also didn't do some type of chant or change their vibration and connect with something that would actually help them heal, but they had to use it together. And I really believe stuff like that really did work. It's just that we lost a lot of our technology in ways because we're taught to view ancient cultures and civilizations as Neanderthals or like, stupid. They use sticks and stones to build their chairs and beds, but then we can't reproduce a lot of stuff that they had. So I believe they were more advanced than what we are currently, and that includes the spiritual world and the higher level of thinking and the mindset.
I kind of have to agree with you there. I think there's so I have a belief that there was an Atlantis at some point in the past there, and like however you can give more information about that, I kind of loosely accept it there. I'm not really sure, if Abraham Hicks and stuff, or if Edgar Cayce is real, all that. But a lot of what they kind of put out there is, I would say truth. I think there's truth in kind of law of attraction. It's just kind of just like you get what you believe that you will get. You get what you expect to receive and whatnot. So along that lines, I do more or less believe in what that. But kind of going down that lines, if you kind of go with the belief that maybe there was an Atlantis at some point in the past, there or a higher level civilization and whatnot, then if you accept that belief, then you kind of also accept that there was a destruction there, and like maybe we are just doing the cycle over and over again. We kind of get to an advanced state of human being, and then for whatever reason we come and like people either get envious or whatever and destroy it. And then kind of during Egyptian times, I think or right after Egyptian times. It was either Greeks or the Romans kind of invaded Alexandria. And I believe it was the Romans. I'll have to double check that, but Alexandria was a great city. It also had the greatest library in the world at the time. And from my understanding is that that library was burnt to a crisp or just like destroyed, because the people who were invading and taking over Alexandria were a little bit envious of all the knowledge that was put there. Hopefully nobody goes 40, 50, 100 years from now and just says, this internet stuff, I don't know. Like they're too advanced. We've got to destroy it, because I think that would just, I think it's such a beautiful thing that we can have this conversation right now. We could have this conversation if we weren't just across town, but if we were across the world and whatnot. And hopefully at some point we'll kind of do interviews where we are talking to people across the world and whatnot. And I think, I guess, completely trying to bring back the circle. I think what interests me about the whole channeling aspect is there is like each of those different entities or channeling beings, they kind of talk about higher power, higher spirits, like higher levels of consciousness that we have not yet obtained. And I think hopefully we will someday. I guess I'll just throw that out. What do you think about that, Greg?
Oh yeah, it's the saying that we use, what is it, like 3% of our brain or something? 10, not even 10%. I don't think it's like fraction of percent, 3. But if we were to what is it? I mean, have you ever seen the movie? I can't think of the name of the movie where they took those pills and it opened up your mind more, where you can actually use more your brain. I can't think of the name of that, but anyway. But yeah, I do believe that there's a lot more to our minds that we don't know, and we're just slowly tapping into that little by little, and then it's going to, if we keep at it, we'll actually evolve to what we need to be. But it just takes a lot of work and fight to get people to think correctly. But yeah, I believe that.
I think the movie you're talking about is Limitless, and we just kind of always, it seems like we circle back to movies, but they're such great. They're basically the movies these days are kind of like the great Greek tragedies there that they would talk about back in the day. I mean, but and so some movies are based off of Greek tragedies and whatnot. But then I mean, that's kind of how knowledge is passed on, and I think that's how knowledge is passed on in an entertaining way, is just to tell stories, right? So just share stories and whatnot. And I think but Limitless is just an excellent film. If you haven't seen that, I would highly suggest checking it out. I'm trying to think of another film, but yeah, I guess just wanted to speak about this topic only because there may be a shift there in kind of where the world's going, and maybe we're just going to keep going off the deep end. But hopefully we are reaching towards a higher level of consciousness, and maybe it's all made up. Who knows? Maybe like Edgar Casey was faking, and maybe the Seth materials was all made up. Maybe it's all just an illusion, but I think it's kind of a good illusion to think about that we could have, higher powers that we could be reaching out towards, rather than just kind of fighting amongst each other and not cooperating there. Just my 2 cents. Any final thoughts, Craig, and maybe we'll wrap it up?
Yeah, I'll just leave you guys with a quote of the day. This is from, actually, I don't know who the person is. So it goes, be thankful for what you are now and keep fighting for what you want to be tomorrow. Oh, that is, yeah, that's a great quote. So yeah, be thankful for what you are now and keep fighting for what you want to be tomorrow.
All right. And I guess I'm just coming out with random audience homework here. I guess my audience homework would be just kind of look into channeling a little bit, do a little bit of research, Wikipedia, throw it in Google and whatnot. Check out some videos of Abraham Hicks. There's a lot of them on YouTube. And just give us your opinion of what do you think? I mean, do you think this is real? Do you think it's all made up? Like, go ahead and share that. And with that, I'll just go ahead and throw out, like, if you're looking for inspiration, if you're looking for some motivation, where you need to go is definitely go check out Greg's blog, which is planetgreenzen.com. Go ahead and check it out. You won't regret it there. So I'll throw that out there real quick.
Appreciate it, Darrell. And if you guys are looking to actually join this awesome mastermind that we're a part of, definitely connect with Darrell. He will have his information in the description below. Click on that link, take you to the application, fill it out, and then he'll let you know what he's looking for. And if everything works out, we can have you here on the show, guest starring or hosting, and just inspiring the world together and fighting for our freedom.
Fighting for the freedom, indeed. So with that, thank you so much for joining us in this episode of Inside the Mastermind, and hope you have a fantastic rest of your day or week. If you enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and share it and share this episode out with friends. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. If you did not like it, if it was kind of terrible, rough, whatever, go ahead and give us some feedback. Reach back out to us and let us know how we can improve. And with that, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.